The Enigma of Bella in the Wych Elm. Hey there, history buffs, and welcome back to our final spooktacular Wednesday of October. It's your favorite history rat, Kay, in here, and wow, what a month it's been. I am so grateful that you've joined me on this journey through some of history's most chilling true crime stories, especially with our exciting new family member just having arrived. So far, we've faced the jazz-loving Axeman, endured the silent terror of Villisca, navigated the ghoulish trade of the Resurrection Men, and even come face-to-face with the legendary Bell Witch. For our grand finale, just in time for Halloween, we are heading across the pond once more to the misty, wartime English countryside, where a bizarre discovery would launch one of the most enduring and unsettling unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. This is the haunting riddle of Bella in the Wych Elm. Prepare yourselves, because this tale is a whispered secret in the woods, a ghost of a crime that refuses to be forgotten. A wartime discovery in Hagley Wood. The year is 1943. World War II rages across Europe, dominating headlines and occupying the minds of the British people. But amidst the global conflict, a local mystery was about to unfold in the seemingly tranquil woodlands of Worcestershire, England. Probably said that wrong. It's the best I got. Specifically, in a place called Hagley Wood, part of the sprawling Hagley estate. On the afternoon of April 18, 1943, four local boys, Robert Hart, Thomas Willits, Fred Payne, and John McGregor, were out poaching for birds' nests, a common activity in wartime Britain where food rationing made ingenuity a necessity. They ventured deep into the woods, a familiar hunting ground for them. As they explored, their attention was drawn to a large, ancient wych elm tree. It was old and gnarled, with a hollow trunk. Thinking it might be a good place to find a nest, young Thomas Willits, the smallest of the group, decided to climb inside the hollow cavity to investigate. What he found within the dark, confined space was not a bird's nest, but something far, far more horrifying. Little Thomas peered into the darkness and saw what he first thought was a skull. Overcome with fear, he quickly scrambled out of the tree. The boys, realizing they had stumbled upon something deeply, deeply disturbing, were terrified. They made a pact. They wouldn't tell anyone, fearing they would get into trouble for poaching on private land. However, the secret was just a little too heavy for young Thomas. That night, deeply disturbed by what he had seen, he confessed to his parents. His father, recognizing the gravity of the situation, immediately contacted the police. The unveiling of a victim. The next day, April 19th, police officers arrived at Hagley Wood, led by Superintendent George Haymond. Guided by young Thomas, they approached the ancient wych elm. What they found inside confirmed the boys' chilling discovery and sent shivers down their spines. Deep within the hollow trunk of the tree was the skeletonized remains of a woman. She was crammed into the cavity, head facing downwards. The scene was macabre and deeply unsettling. The body was so tightly wedged into the tree that it took a considerable effort to extract it. The remains were transported to Professor James Webster, a forensic scientist at the University of Birmingham. His examination revealed crucial yet still baffling details. The skeleton was indeed that of a woman, estimated to be about 35 to 40 years old. Based on the decomposition, she had likely been dead for at least 18 months, placing her death sometime in October 1941. This meant she had been in the tree throughout 2 harsh English winters. While direct evidence was limited due to the skeletal state, Professor Webster found a piece of taffeta fabric tightly packed into the victim's mouth. This led him to conclude that she had likely died of asphyxiation, possibly by gagging or strangulation, before being placed in the tree while still warm and flexible. There was no obvious sign of a struggle or external injury on the bones that would indicate a violent struggle or cause of death other than asphyxiation. The woman had slightly crooked teeth, particularly the lower front tooth, and her jaw shape suggested a distinct facial structure. She was also estimated to be about 5 feet tall. A few other items were found with the body: a gold wedding ring, some ragged remains of clothing, including parts of a shoe, and a piece of taffeta similar to the one in her mouth. Crucially, there was no handbag, no identification, no personal effects that could point to her identity. The discovery sent ripples of unease through the local communities. Who was this woman? How did she end up in such a bizarre and gruesome resting place? And perhaps, most chillingly, who put Bella in the wych elm? The hunt for identity. The immediate priority for the police was to identify the victim. Without a name, the investigation was a dead end. They launched a massive public appeal, publishing photographs of the victim's reconstructed skull and dental records in newspapers across the country. The hope was that someone, somewhere, would recognize the unique dental features or the description of the woman. However, wartime conditions made the investigation incredibly difficult. People were being displaced, families were separated, and communications were often disrupted. Missing person reports were abundant, but none seemed to match the specifics of the wych elm woman. The police explored several leads, but all eventually led to dead ends. Clara Belle Dronkers, a Dutch woman, a former music hall artist, who was married to a German spy and had gone missing. Her description initially seemed to fit, and there was speculation she might have been a spy killed by her own side or by British intelligence. However, her height didn't quite match, and definitive links were never established. Roma, or Gypsy community. Due to the rural location and the nomadic lifestyle of some Roma communities at the time, this was considered, but no solid leads emerged. Despite extensive efforts, public appeals, and detective work, the identity of the woman in the wych elm remained a frustrating mystery. The police simply couldn't put a name to the skeleton. The graffiti, a taunting riddle. As the official investigation stalled, a new and deeply unsettling element emerged, transforming the case from a mere unidentified body into a true and enduring mystery. In 1944, a piece of mysterious graffiti appeared, scrawled in white chalk on a wall in Upper Dean Street, Birmingham. Who put Bella in the wych elm? This was just the beginning. Over the following years, and indeed for decades to come, this haunting question would appear again and again, It was found on walls, monuments, underpasses, and even the Hagley obelisk, a prominent landmark on the Hagley estate. The handwriting varied, suggesting multiple individuals were involved, or perhaps one person using different styles, but I'm going to lean towards different individuals. The graffiti served several chilling purposes. Public awareness. It kept the unsolved murder alive in the public conscious long after the initial news cycle faded. Taunt to the authorities. It seemed to mock the police's inability to solve the case. Insider knowledge. Most disturbingly, it strongly suggested that someone, or multiple people, knew more about the murder than they were letting on. The use of Bella implies a specific, perhaps familiar, name for the victim. A name the police never discovered. So who was writing these messages? Was it the killer themselves, gloating? An accomplice? A witness too afraid to come forward openly, but desperate to reveal the truth? Or simply someone who knew the victim and the terrible secret surrounding her death? The enduring nature of the graffiti reappearing year after year only added to the eerie, unsolved nature of the case. It was a secret whispered on the walls, a silent accusation in the public square. Theories and whispers of espionage. The case of Bella in the Wych Elm has spawned numerous theories, each as intriguing and unsettling as the last. Espionage and spy theory. This is one of the most persistent and compelling theories, especially given the wartime context. Some believe Bella was a German spy, or a British agent working against the Germans, who was either killed by her handlers, by enemy agents, or by the British Secret Service because she knew too much. The piece of taffeta in her mouth, some speculate, could have been a silent, professional way of killing an agent. The Clara Bella Dronkers lead, the Dutch music hall artist married to the German spy, heavily influenced this theory. Another version suggests she was part of a spying ring that operated in the region, perhaps around a nearby military airfield. Witchcraft and occult sacrifice. Less prominent, but deeply unsettling, some theories suggest Bella was the victim of a black magic ritual or a satanic sacrifice. Hagley Wood has historical connections to witchcraft lore, and the manner of death and concealment in a tree could be interpreted as symbolic. This theory gained a little bit of traction with the later Who Put Bella graffiti, suggesting a more sinister, hidden motive. Local love triangle, personal motive. Perhaps Bella was involved in a local affair or a personal dispute that escalated to murder. The secrecy and odd placement of the body could point to an attempt to conceal a deeply personal crime. The Bella name might have been a nickname known only to a select few. Serial killer, random act of violence. While the particular circumstances are unique, it's possible Bella was the victim of a transient serial killer, or a one-off act of violence by someone who simply chose a bizarre means of disposal. However, the consistent graffiti suggests a more intimate knowledge of the victim or the crime. The lack of progress in the official investigation allowed these theories to flourish, turning Bella in the Wych Elm into a modern British folk horror tale. The dense woods, the isolated location, and the wartime secrecy all lend themselves to the more sinister interpretations. A secret that refuses to die. Decades have passed since the discovery in the Wych Elm, and the case remains officially unsolved. The original police files contain no definitive answer. The men who found the body are long gone. The witnesses and potential suspects have most likely passed away. Yet, the question, who put Bella in the Wych Elm, continues to haunt the historical record. Even in recent years, new attempts have been made to solve the mystery. In 1999, a new facial reconstruction of Bella was created using modern forensic techniques, hoping to spark new recognition. I wonder if they sent it to Bones. I bet she could do one hell of a reconstruction. She'd tell you what happened. In 2018, the West Mercia police reviewed the case, confirming it was still open, but acknowledged the immense challenges due to the passage of time and lack of new evidence. The case of Bella in the Wych Elm is spectacular because it's a true crime that feels like a ghost story. The victim herself, nameless and forgotten except by a taunting message, is almost a spectral figure. Her body found in the eerie confines of a hollow tree, her identity obscured by a wartime fog, and the persistent anonymous graffiti all contribute to an atmosphere of profound mystery and dread. It's the ultimate cold case, a secret whispered through the trees of an English wood, forever asking a question to which no one has dared to openly give the answer. It's a haunting secret, kept by someone, somewhere, in the dark corners of history. So, history buffs, what do you believe happened to Bella in the Wych Elm? Was she a spy, a victim of a ritual, or something else entirely? And who has been writing these chilling messages for all these decades? Let me know your theories in the comments below. This is one of those cases that truly keeps me up at night. If this final spectacular Wednesday tale has captivated you, please take a moment to give the video a thumbs up. It truly means the world to me and helps the channel grow. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join the History Rats family for all our future adventures. This concludes our spectacular Wednesdays for October. Thank you all so much for joining me on these thrilling historical rides.